create some unity within your fortune cookie montage. So we're going to start off, I'm just going to show you a little bit about blending images together. Notice in this particular document that I made, each layer that I'm clicking on adds another another layer of items that help them blend together. Have transformers, we have shadows that go underneath them. Here we have a chair, and I erased part of that chair so that you could see that it looks like it's in the grass. And then I added kind of a gray overlay to kind of tone out some of the colors. So here's what we can do. One of the things that we can do is utilize a photo filter, which is right up here in your adjustment layers panel. Now this is just like a filter you would put on your camera that will give your photographs warm tones or cool tones, or a polarizing filter that will bump up the colors. Notice up here you get a pop-out window, and when we change it to a cooling filter, it gets a little bit more on the blue side. We've got oranges and reds, and you can choose any kind of filter you want. So basically it will adjust anything, any color overall, so that it will make them all kind of look like they have the same kind of tone, which helps with your unity. You can adjust the density, you can make it any color that you want. And once we have that, we can also use our black and white adjustment layer. Even though it makes it black and white, you can make any kind of adjustments in terms of tone that you would want. And then what we can do is just simply change the opacity so that it blends underneath, and we can kind of see through it, so it just kind of takes out some of the color, not all of it, but just a little bit. Gives it more of an overall effect as well. Another thing that we discussed is adding a vignette. So if we go down to this layer 1 copy, and we go up to filter, lens correction, we choose custom. Notice how it gives us our vignette, and we can drag to the left. Basically the vignette is just bringing in a soft edge around the corners that's dark to bring your eye into the center of your document. You can also do the opposite way and choose lighten, does the same effect just with a lighter color. You can adjust the midpoint as well, depending on how you want it to look. Preview, off and on. Okay, once you're happy. Now another thing that we can do is make a new blank layer, take a soft fuzzy brush and just run it around the corners of our document to give a vignette if you wanted it to sit above everything. And then all we'd have to do is change it to something like soft light so that it blends underneath. You can always drop your opacity down so it just gives you a little bit of an effect. And now let's add some text. So I'm going to take my type tool, type out the word fortune. And now if I resize this, I can then change my blend mode on it to make it blend. Remember, you don't have to use all of the words, you can do just some of them. You can do soft light, notice it blends with what's underneath it, or overlay. If we drag it up here to the sky, you can see that it'll change based on what's underneath it. If you go to Window and Character, you're going to get your character palette. It's an easy way for you to change the color to be maybe white. We could also double click on it and add drop shadows so it appears like it's popping out of the sky up there. And at any time you could drop down any of the opacities of any of this so it doesn't stand out as much. But it doesn't have to be the entire word or the entire fortune. It can be a portion of the fortune. You can even duplicate these by pressing Command J, and you could rotate them around. You can overlay all the words if you want to, if that's what you were looking for. All kinds of things that you can do to make it as interesting as possible. But words must be a part of your photo montage. And now one last thing that you can do is we can add a texture to also help unify. So this is just one example. And I'm going to drag this, put it over top of my document. And I'm going to put it all the way at the top because I want it to be all the way on the top of my layer stack, over top of all of my layers. And all I'm going to do is change it to soft light. Notice you see the texture. I'm going to drop down the opacity a little bit, just so that it unifies the whole thing. And I even might even do Command I to do an inverse, because I like the darker effect of it instead of the lighter effect, but ultimately, totally up to you. And there you would have a nice little texture on top of it. And you can find these textures on Google by just typing in texture, and a whole bunch of files will pop up. If you know what kind of texture you want, you can always type that in. You can always photograph a texture and place that on top as well. So these are just a couple ways that you can create your photo montage.